Hey guys, welcome back to the Lit Mag Lab podcast. I'm Jazz Marie, aka Kevin Foro. So previously on the podcast, I was discussing the closure of Drunk Monkeys. Yes, it was a sad episode, but I just wanted to do a quick tour of their website, talk a little bit about their structure, their guidelines, and share that with you because yeah, they were around since 2011, right? So it's really, really sad to see them close down. And yeah, today I just want to talk about something I didn't mention really, and I want to just cover it briefly. It won't be too long, I promise. But yeah, you can see, I'm sure from the past episode, right? Drunk Monkeys, when I was on the Chill Subs overview page, right? Chill Subs, this year towards the end did a navigational layout change, with the overall UI of their search database and the collapsible menus and all of that. So yeah, I'm not going to cover everything over again. Uh, I did so, about 5 months ago in episode 34 on this podcast series. Just an overview of everything chill subs, but didn't cover every single thing. There are a few more resources and really cool things they've added, and I also, shared the contest calculator in episode 70. There was also episode 49, right? Coverage of the rating overview system. I didn't really show it to you in that episode, just where it was, talked about it. But yeah, you can listen back to episode 34 and 49 and 70 if you'd like. But do check out the Chill Subs YouTube channel because that's where they're, posting also some really cool step-by-step how-tos, for using chill subs, everything chill subs tips, tools, and tricks even. So be sure to check out their channel as well. Now, yeah, so something I want to talk about, aside from, we'll come back to chill subs layout and everything a little bit further in a few sections on here. But under services on the left-hand side, they have this, right? They have custom lists, flexible feedback agent lists. They also have, right, MFAs, right? And that's new. That's a new section, right? MFA partners, Master of Fine Arts. Now, I've never, done my master's degree or, anything like that. I've never done an MFA, just, an AS degree and Bachelor's of Science degree, right? And yeah, I think they have Bowling Green State University on here now. So I did graduate from BGSU with a Bachelor's of Science. So yeah, it's really cool that they have this list, MFA partners that they have, and it's really awesome to see that. Even, again, only poems, which I covered in this podcast episode, I think it was in the 80s or 90s, right? If we go over to only poems, and they got a website overhaul too, only poems as well, and a few other lit magazine journals out there. I posted a list of top 12 lit mag and lit mag websites, of 2025. Just know that there are way more in that list I wish I could have included, but there's more so focusing on lit mags and journals that had recent really stellar site design changes or fairly recent ones that caught my eye in 2025. Only Poems was on that list, Rattle, Epiphany, as well, and Copper Nickel, Friction, Birdie, um, Moss Puppy, Scrawl Place, and yeah, other ones were on that list. So totally you can check it out. But more so, I just want to share again, only poems, right? Something that they offer, right, in terms of resources is MFA help, right? So they have courses and workshops around it, essentially, right? So a whole package program around it, right? $999. So MFA consultation application review of them. It's tough, to navigate that. I'm not too familiar with myself, but I know from friends, the community, others, even on my volunteer staff, it is pretty tough, absolutely. So, just know there are resources out there, MFA partners that you can find and things like that, right? That is really awesome, right? So it says under, again, you can see my screen on YouTube, Spotify, and elsewhere. These MFA partners are providing students with access to Chill Subs database tools and other cool stuff that they're building to help others publish, connect, discover opportunities, and share meaningful work all in one place centrally. So that's awesome. I'm sure this is going to continue to grow. And yeah, so they have, you can manage your profile again, collections, tracker, browse, lit mags, journals, presses. They have services again, I mentioned that. And yeah, they have a toolbox. So, calendar, submitter passport, contest calculator, cover letter generator, prose formatter, rejection bingo, some fun stuff for sure. So yeah. Now, in terms of resources here, this is what I wanted to cover more. So, so they have the sub club, right? That's a Substack newsletter mailing list. They have their blog, right? The Forever Workshop events, right? Discord community you can join in, find out about open calls, and chat. It's really fun. And yeah, first draft November. So this is what I want to cover. I didn't really mention this in the past, and yeah, this was something new to me that I wasn't aware of. And yeah, so I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with NaNoWriMo. I'm sure you are, most are, but for those of you unaware, right, it closed sometime, I think, around March and April of this year. There are some articles online about, right, a NaNoWriMo scandal, after 20 years, right, NaNoWriMo, the National Novel Writing Month shut down, right, and there was, it appears like some financial issues and other things, and just it was really a huge loss, I think, for others who were really involved in that, each year. I was never really, really good about the whole challenges and stuff, writing challenges and NaNoWriMo. I tried a couple times, when my friends participated in it, even way, way back, in middle school, high school years. I tried partaking in it, but it's just epically failed. So yeah, but yeah, just gonna quote off of, for those unaware, on Wikipedia. So NaNoWriMo, right, National Novel Writing Month, was a US based nonprofit organization that promoted creative writing around the world. Its flagship program was an annual international creative writing event in which participants attempted to write a 50,000 word manuscript during the month of November. Well known authors wrote pep talks in order to motivate participants during the month. The website provided participants called Remos with tips for writer's block, information on where local participants were meeting, and an online community of support, focusing on the length of a work rather than the quality. Writers were encouraged to finish their first drafts quickly so they could be edited later at the writer's discretion. The project started in July 1999 with 21 participants. In 2022, 413,295 people participated in the organization's programs. Writers wishing to participate first registered on the project's website, where they could post profiles and information about their novels, including synopsises, and excerpts. Regional volunteers called municipal liaisons helped connect local writers, held in person and virtual writing events, and provided encouragement. In March 2025, the organization announced its closure. Yeah. And yeah, there was a YouTube video apparently that went out about financial struggles and other things. And I've heard some articles mention, aside from the Guardian articles that I read from, I think, Ella Creamer, a few other, writers and news coverage was, some things about AI, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's really sad. It was around for a very, very long time. I always remembered, NaNoWriMo is happening, guys, but I was like, I can't partake in that. I'm not good about that stuff, like those types of challenges. More so I would say I was better at drawing and art challenges over the years. Like I literally did like a drawing a day or more, for a challenge for myself on, like baseball size sketch cards. And I did that quite a bit, several years ago. Like every single day I would do a drawing a day, a drawing a day, a drawing a day at least. I would tell myself set aside time. So I don't know what it was about writing, but drawing was something I always did on the fly. So I always had something I wanted to draw, like, or just some characters or anything, even people watching. There was always something, but writing sort of to get my wheels turning, and I think back then more so I held back a lot as a writer personally, so I wasn't as, open on paper as I am today, currently, but anyways, yeah, NaNoWriMo, is no more, and it shut down earlier in 2025. So what Chillsteps has created is first draft November. It says here, write 50,000 words in 30 days with zero pressure, and people will actually get it. So this time has passed, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about it, because I think it's really cool that they did this. And so they have, right, some post here, right, that are supposed to help you a little bit, right? What hidden desire or fear drives your protagonist forward? I'm on firstdraftnovember.com, which is a Substack, right? They got their own domain and URL for it, attached to the Substack. And yeah, it says Peaks and Pits, their weekly accountability thread that they did. They talk about protagonist, right? And what belief is your protagonist still clinging to? Yeah, and it's just some really great resources they have for writers. So First Draft November exists. It says NaNoWriMo's canceled, but your novel isn't. 30 days, one messy draft. So yeah, I think the following year, or this is something others can look forward to. Considering NaNoWriMo's no more. I'm sure there are other writing challenges out there around this time. I know some other writers facilitate and things like that. Some online writing communities even around that time of the year. But I just wanted to share this because I was like, oh, I never knew this existed. I never knew NaNoWriMo closed down until within the past 60 days. I just found out about it, and I was like, yeah, I might as well talk about it because I always, used to think about NaNoWriMo. I remember, the first time a friend introduced me to NaNoWriMo, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah, sure, I did create a NaNoWriMo profile at some point in time, and I didn't do a good job of following through with the challenge a whole bunch. But I absolutely, there were times, outside of NaNoWriMo where I took the time to, yeah, try to set aside time and complete things, a little bit, make progress. But I wasn't good about like back to back writing days or anything like that. More so, I was good at about back to back drawing days back then. But yeah. So I just wanted to take the time to share First Draft November. I think it's really beneficial. All the events and programs and workshops that Chill Subs has developed, in addition to right the entire database. And yeah, it's a really cool community, Chill Subs, right, and a lot of resources, a lot of really cool things. So I would say, in terms of navigational layout changes that they made, do I like them? Yeah, I think they're great. Now, I don't know if you guys are huge fans of right-hand side navigational panels or left-hand side. I think it really, for me, depends upon the system. There are some systems I've used, like submission management systems, ticketing systems, where a lot of things are right-handed on terms of navigation predominantly. But I think, something is in the sense of a resource, a database, a search, as long as everything's super easy to find, easy to locate, even with systems and software, it's not a huge deal. But, everyone has a preference. I really like it. I think what they've done, the collapsible menus, right? Navigational, it's very easy to, do that under more, right? If you're an editor, you can have the editor portal, right? All of that, and yeah, membership. They do change, over time, different places change their plans, their levels, and that's bound to change over the course of time. But I did cover that at some point in time in the episode, and yeah, so these change, yearly, right? Better's $80 a year with them. As of December 2025, right? You get everything in free, but you get the smart search, better collections, upgraded profile. So you can add unlimited books, short works, projects to your Chill Subs profile page. Insights and context, right? So you get more details and data, comparative listings, access to the cover letter, generous submitters passport, 33% off custom lists, exclusive events. $160 a year, right? That includes, right, full access to the sub club, the Forever Workshop, unlimited writers hour access, which is a daily writing accountability hours for any time zone with Writers Hour by London Writers Salon. So they don't just have First Draft November; they have a lot of other things and events that they do. Yeah, so that's awesome. Again, they have a monthly $8 a month plan too. Which is more reasonable. It looks like there's a uh, $10 with 20% off here right now under Better, right? And everything in free, smart search, all of that, right? That I just covered, right? Just $8 a month. Then Best is $20 a month with 20% off currently, right? $16 a month. And yeah, again, you get access to a lot of things, right? The sub club is really beneficial, list places to submit jobs, agents, very beneficial if you're a writer, looking for places to submit. It's one of the go-to places to check out for sure that you should, yeah, subscribe to. Full access, to yeah, they have classes, events, In terms of, I think they've named those plans a couple different things over the course of years. I'm sure this database page is going to change again in the future, but I definitely probably won't be doing an episode every time there's a change. But I wanted to mention NaNoWriMo because it was something I was always memorable to me over the course of years. I had a lot of friends who really cared about NaNoWriMo. So I think First Draft November is a really cool alternative to that. Of course, it's no longer November, we're in December and now the new year. But I think it's something to look forward to. I think writing challenges are fun, although I'm not very good at some of them like that, like NaNoWriMo or anything close to First Draft November. But who knows, back in the day, I used to try and write YA books, very stories. I got, pretty far into them, but never finished them. They're like half baked, quarter baked, stories and stuff. But yeah, I've published bits and pieces of those, in different places for fun. My middle school, high school works. And yeah, I did a couple things and spin-offs and through, my college days and stuff like that in terms of writing and different characters and building worlds and stuff for fun. But yeah, not as much as anymore. But who knows? There's a story I've been thinking about working on that I sure shared on this podcast or finishing it. So maybe I'll get around to it sometime. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, again, they have a lot of really cool events that you could look into attending. They have lessons, tutorials through Zoom, virtual events, right? And a lot of support events for others, so it can be great to meet up with others, to connect, and yeah. I've never stopped into one quite yet or anything like that, or any workshops or events, but totally, it could be beneficial. The past few years I've had some, life events and other things. So yeah, I just do what I can, do these episodes when I can. But Chill Subs is a great hub for everything in terms of the Lit Mag world. Absolutely. There are also, I shared out a list not too long ago of, how to stay in the loop on the latest news in terms of the Lit Mag world, right? I'm sure you guys are aware of Lit Mag News, right? I mentioned, writers, advice, tips, right? Lit Mag Love, Lit Mag Lounge. And there are some sites I just shared out, right? How to stay safe, right? And lists for that. I'm sure most of you are aware of Writer Beware and a few other ones out there, So yeah, I cover that on the series and also in a project I just completed, which I may share with you guys in the next episode or somewhere in this. I said I had news to share. I shared out my newsletter, but maybe I'm thinking about maybe doing a separate episode. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about First Draft November with you guys because I think it's pretty cool, and I really was surprised that NaNoWriMo shut down, this year. I wasn't aware of that until like towards the very end of this year myself. So that's cool that Chill Subs created First Draft November. And yeah, so definitely I would recommend creating a Chill Subs, account and profile. If you're, interested and submitting to Lit Mag journals or diving in the space, I think it's really important to do so. And it's a great browse capabilities through here. Very organized, a very clean design and layout. I love the collections and lists. I'm a list person again, love lists, love the sub club, all their newsletters that they do. I'm not subscribed to all of them, but I do, peek in from time to time and look at some of the posts and stuff because what they do is really cool. Absolutely. So you can find magazines, presses, contests, and more through Chill Subs. They do have like Thread Lit Mag, a lot of different things at Chill Subs. So you can listen back to my other episodes on it. Something again I didn't really do a good job of showing you guys was the rating feature. I talked about it like I was scared to like click on it because I was scared something was going to happen. But at the time, I didn't have any ones to really do it with myself. But yeah, I did have 3 acceptances through Little Old Lady Comedy this year. It was yeah, cool. So, what happens when you rate a lit mag, on Chill Subs, right? It says help editors and community. Do you recommend this magazine? Yes, you can click on it. And yeah, you can, give your feedback essentially, right? Bold and weird, hidden gem, new writer friendly, beautiful design, actively inclusive, career builder. I just love them. Great editors, a damn good read. So, Yeah, that's really cool. So this is a way to sort of give feedback and rate lit mags out there, their profiles. I think it's really helpful, and yeah. So it's really, and you can choose three, right? A maximum. So yeah, I think that's really cool. And you can save that, and then it'll plug that in. You can see right there. So based on, X amount of votes you recommend. And yeah, when you do click on it again, you can adjust this and deselect it, right? Like that, so yeah. So that's cool that they let you modify your rating and review and vote, right? And recommendation. And I believe they use this recommendation section or the votes through this for best lit mags of the year list that they had comprised this year. When others voted, it populated the votes on this recommendation page actually. So yeah, anyways, I just want to show you the rating feature because I have some to give ratings on. I submit once in a blue moon, not a bunch, guys, myself, as much anymore. Yeah, Little Old Lady Comedy, guys, check it out too. A really cool publication if you're looking for, humorous writing. I love humor writing. Actually, I'm a rather humorous writer. More so, I would say. It took me a while to, get out of sort of a slump with my writing. I think, considering that so many bizarre events happened, the past couple of years. So, yeah, pretty, I would say, a humorous person. Yeah. So it's a lot of different fun publications out there in terms of the humor world for sure, in terms of lit mags and all kinds. You can come across them, right? So they don't have a Substack section on here, which I mentioned in the Chill Subs episode. But if we type like one that I know is on Substack, right? Paloma. I think that's Paloma magazine, and we'll actually cover them in the next episode. They are based out on Substack, actually. So yeah, while they don't have a dedicated Substack section on here, there are, as of yet, December, you can find those types of listings. Not all of them are on here quite yet, but they have, what's showing right 4,300 magazines, so it's growing. This database, it's very cool. Don't forget there is again Duotrope and the Submission Grinder and other ones, right, which I've covered in the series. Also, in the project I just completed too, which I will share with you guys. I will share with you guys that maybe in one of the upcoming episodes, so you guys can check it out, and then yeah, my birthday's coming up in January, a few other things. So just trying to do these when I can. So yeah, don't forget, for next year, right, first draft November, don't forget to check out Chill Subs. They have, again, update their navigational layout. They have a great, search filters in here, easily, to find calls, and it's really cool. And yeah, so it's a really great database. Absolutely. They've added a lot of really cool features to it since its creation. And yeah, you can, have suggested listings in there and everything, if you can't find one. They have contest, right? All of that. And yeah, so really cool, and highly recommend you check out Chill Subs. So yeah, love the filtering capabilities, and filters that you can do as well. Essentials and advanced, right? You can search by vibe, eligibility, no fee pays, right? Typical, most popular ones, obviously, right? Let's see where we're at with this in terms of how many are in the listing database to date. So it says 719 no fee pays. So that's very cool. Yeah. So that's all I just wanted to cover. First draft November, mentioned the MFA partner section, the navigational layout changes to be mindful of, but yeah, not a whole bunch has changed. They still offer a lot of what I covered, right, in episode 34 and the other ones, right, and 49 and 70. But do check out the Chill Subs YouTube channel for all things Chill Subs and follow their newsletters. They have several that they run out on Substack, that are very, very awesome, very, very helpful. So that's all, guys. And yeah, I will share some news in the next episode, or do a coverage of a lit mag journal, either or. I'm thinking which one. So I will let you guys know in the next one. See you in the next one. Yeah. And yeah, check out chillsubs.com, create an account, and check it out. Again, they have different membership plans, and where you can get access to more features and tools to help you, on your journey when you're submitting, and yeah, interactive lit mags and journals, and yeah, a really great place to connect with other writers too through the events and the workshops, and yeah. So that's all, guys. Take care, yeah, and mark your calendars for next year. For first draft November. I don't know, guys. I haven't really. Again, I don't think I'm going to partake in be able to, anyways. But yeah. So yeah, in the poetry world, there's like 30-day prompt challenges that some writers create on social media and elsewhere. I've even made 30-day prompt challenges myself from time to time for fun for others. Yeah, and yeah, so writing challenges can be tough, but fun. They can challenge you. You might be surprised what you create. Setting yourself a deadline and putting time aside, it's really fun. Yeah, so I think it's we all have, I think as writers, artist projects, we are like, we try to get them done, things come up, but I think it's fun when we literally dedicate 30 days or set amount of time and stick with it, right? Stick with it all the way and see the outcome and set goals and markers to get completion. I think everyone has a little bit different writing process or timeline, right? Because of their schedule in life. But nevertheless, I think things like NaNoWriMo, they did actually help, a lot of writers, and programs like that NaNoWriMo challenge, writing challenge, right? And yeah, first draft November, I'm sure haven't participated in it or anything like that, but I think it's really cool and interesting. Again, right, there's the sub club, the Forever Workshop, first draft November. They do events and a lot of other things. So definitely, you're bound to find something through chill subs that's bound to help you, for sure. Navigating the lit mag press world, and yeah, it's a pretty great resource. Is pretty great, the resources that they have for writers. And PS, guys, so in regards to the closure of NaNoWriMo, I didn't really go into it a whole bunch, but again, they were literally around for 20 something years, right? 26 years ago they launched, and they closed. It wasn't just solely financial problems. I believe it was multiple factors, right, from what I read in a couple different articles, right, through the Guardian and LitHub even, right, stating there were a lot of things that were puzzling with their stance on AI. I think they were in support of it, or not fully against it or anything like that, and a few other factors there with NaNoWriMo. And besides financial struggles and decisions there, there were other things leading up to it, their closure. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, very, very sad to hear about that. But it happens, things like that. Anyways, so definitely, again, head over to Chill Subs, and when that time comes up again, check out First Draft November instead, and the other really cool resources that Chill Subs has. Very cool again. So don't forget about that, and yeah, that's all. I just wanted to share this because I think it is helpful. I think again to partake in things like this. I more so have, I would say, in the poetry world, participated in some mini challenges, right? Not like marathon challenges, right? Nothing to the extent of 30 days. Sure, I've done, in the past, way back, research papers, academic papers, and things that are due on a specific deadline, but nothing to the extent of like a whole, book development, that long progression of, a novel, working on it to hit a massive amount of words in a set month of, one particular month that everyone works on it. More so it's just like whenever I had time to block it out, I'd work on it, tell myself I have to, get the next chapter done, the next chapter, the next chapter, things like that. Anyways, yeah, first draft November, check it out. Check out the other, again, Substacks that what Chill Subs has, right? Forever Workshop Sub Club again, and that's all. Just wanted to take the time to talk about NaNoWriMo a little bit because it was something I never forgot about, and I know a lot of writers too. So if you're looking for an alternative for next year, right, head over to Chill Subs, right, and check out First Draft November. Signing off officially, yeah. Bye, yeah.